Are you living life like an NPC? And no, I'm not talking about the way, we see on TikTok, the TikTok trend where it's like, thank you, roses, roses, right? I'm not talking about that kind of NPC. What I'm really talking about is kind of like in a video game, right? In a video game, you have NPCs in the game, right? And those NPCs, non-player characters, they are programmed to have certain functions, and they act out those functions based on that programming. And what's really important about that and how that even equivalates to real life, because I'm sure a lot of people are like, no way, my actions are not programmed by other people. But that's because a lot of people aren't taught about the most powerful part of their mind, which is the subconscious part of their mind. And once you understand how this part of your mind works, you realize that everyone is pretty much programmed by someone else on some level, right? Now, once you start to know this information, you can take actions to prevent yourself from being programmed, and you can start to, be the programmer and program your mind towards the things that you do want. So, a lot of, there's a pretty big buzzword that goes around called self-sabotage, right? A lot of people are like, oh, I just sabotaged myself. But what does that really mean? Well, it means that your subconscious mind has been programmed to take a different action than what you actually want to do, right? So if you want to eat healthy, if you want to start to work out, if you want to start working on a side business and you find yourself keep going back to those things, right? Or if you want to stop drinking alcohol, if you want to stop smoking cigarettes, if you want to stop smoking marijuana, you want to stop doing whatever, but you keep going back to it and you keep sabotaging your progress, or you're like, vow you're never going to date someone like that again, and you find yourself dating someone exactly like that again. Why does this happen? It's because you've been programmed to act out that way. And that's really how our mind works. It's a subconscious part of our mind. It's below our consciousness, so we don't really see the inner workings of it. And until you understand it, then you probably won't really realize it's happening, right? And this part of your mind, the way it gets programmed from other people, is from the environment, from things that are repeated constantly, from things that are done by groups of people, from things that are done from authority figures, from things that are safe within society. And that's why people pleasing, and that's why peer pressure is such a thing, right? Because we tend to want to fit in with those around us. And I know there's going to be a lot of people probably who are like, no, I'm totally myself. I don't do what other people tell me to do, right? But you may think that consciously, but subconsciously, if you take a deeper look at your actions and why you're doing what you're doing, then you may start to realize that, hey, I am programmed on some level. And you may be a lot less programmed than some other people. Like, I have no doubt about that. There's different amounts of programming within everyone, right? It really has to do a lot with your family structure and the things and experiences you've gone through within your life. And the good news is that you can be the one to reprogram yourself. What I like to think about it for gamers specifically is your subconscious mind is like this controller here, this Xbox controller, right? You, the person controlling the controller, is the conscious part of your mind, the part of your mind that has your thoughts, your actions, your inhibitions, your goals and your dreams, right? And you may want to get healthy, you may want to find a new partner, you may want to start a new job, you may want to do all these things. But your subconscious mind, your controller, is actually being controlled by someone else. And so you're not controlling your character, someone else is controlling your character. And obviously it's not quite as simple as that, because there is like a different power dynamic between that, but just for simple terms, we'll just think of it that way, right? So if you're not in control of your subconscious mind, that means that someone else is actually holding your controller, right? So like, it's just like if you're playing a game, you're playing Skyrim, and your character's moving around and jumping around, right? Well, what happens if you give your controller to someone else? They're now controlling your character. Even though it's your character, they're in control of it, right? And so that's essentially them putting the inputs, the programs into your character, and they're doing the things that they want them to do instead of the things that you want them to do. And that can be that's how it happens within real life too, right? For instance, like all the people who are drawn to fast food, all the people who are drawn to junk food and soda and beer and alcohol and cigarettes and things like that, right? That we all know that are not good for us. We know they're not good for us, right? Everyone knows that, at least on some level. But we still do them. right? We all know that's not going to make us healthier. We all know that's going to probably lead to us being more overweight. But why do we still do them? Because we've been programmed, and there's a part of our mind that runs that program. So like, just like a supercomputer, like just like a computer, right? You have different programs within your computer. And within that computer, those programs, you can just choose to be, or those programs could be like, hey, I have an unhealthy eating program. Whenever I'm hungry, I'm going to put up images of fast food. I'm going to give you the smell of fast food. I'm going to give you cravings for fast food. And you're going to think about those fast food. It's going to be much harder to choose the healthier food alternative because you've been programmed to choose the opposite, right? And you could have a program for brushing your teeth, or you do, right? Have you ever tried brushing your teeth with your opposite hand? You'll notice it's a much different sensation. It's much harder because you haven't built that program around it, right? Or another common one is a program for driving a car, right? And you're driving a car, you're just driving, you're thinking about what you're going to be doing at work, you're thinking you're going to be doing what you're going to be eating tonight, what game you're going to be playing, maybe that girl you're going to go see, right? Whatever it may be, you're not really focusing on the driving aspect of it as much, but you're still driving, you're still getting to work, and for the most part, most people get to work safe, right? That is because you have that program built in within your mind, so part of your mind is able to focus on that while you're consciously able to focus on something else, like the daydreaming, the thinking in the future aspect of it. And so when you're thinking the future, your subconscious mind is running the majority of the time in the background, which we don't really think about. And about 90 to 95% of your daily thoughts and actions come from this part of your mind, meaning that if you're being programmed by someone else, which, let's be real, we all are on some level. Even me, that I know this information, I am constantly actively working on deprogramming myself and making sure that I'm programming myself to the right direction, right? Because this part of your mind is always working. It's pretty much scanning the environment at 11 million pieces of information per second. And that is a ton of information, right? So just pick up on things that you don't even know about consciously, like subliminal messages and things like that, right? We've all heard of that, probably that term on some level. And to compare it to your conscious mind, which is the part of your mind that you're, able to critically think with and logically think and deny information, like say this is good or bad, that's 40 pieces of information per second. 40 pieces of information from your conscious mind, from your head up here, and 11 million pieces of information from your subconscious mind, meaning that you're not picking up on what's going on around you. You're not picking up on the deep subliminal messages within advertisements, within movies, within TV shows, within songs, within school, within books, with all that stuff, right? And so that's why companies pay billions of dollars every year for advertisements, for product placement, for things like that, because they know that they can program you to go towards their food substances, to go, and food, I put quotations around that, their food substances, their drinks, their products, because they know how this part of the mind works, right? It's all about marketing and using this part of the mind to their advantage. And that's why we're not really taught about this information, to tell you the truth. We should obviously be taught about this information when we're young, but at the end of the day, if you want to start to reprogram yourself, you need to take back control of your controller. You need to be the one putting in the inputs. What does that look like? That's consciously looking at, hey, what's the message in the song? Actually analyzing the songs that you're listening to. What are the lyrics? Like, how many of you actually listen to the lyrics and know what that song's meaning is about? Right? What are the small messages within the TV shows that you're watching? Is there product placement? Start to notice those sorts of things, right? Like, there's a bunch of hidden messages within TV shows. And really, if you don't want to program yourself negatively, probably just turn off the TV and you're going to be much safer. Start to put on good podcasts, start to put on good music, start to put good words around. Like I have behind me, I'm enough, here on my whiteboard, to reprogram my mind every single time. And every time someone watches one of my videos, they'll see I'm enough, right? I have things on my walls that say I'm free to create my reality. I'm healthy. I'm strong, right? I'm confident. Things like that are going to reprogram my mind. So anyways, I hope this information helped you. If you want to start to reprogram your mind, that's something simple you can do. If you want more information, if you want to learn more about this part of the mind, shoot me a follow, send me a comment. We can always jump on a call. You can just follow my content and learn more about it. And I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day. My name is Tanner, the Mind Hacker.